Welcome to Another TV with the brand new Sony Xperia T smartphone here in a full review. My name is Balazs Gal and this is a really beautiful phone which was used by Daniel Craig in the brand new James Bond movie called Skyfall. You can see here in the background I have the box. We already unboxed it, so please check that out in our video section on YouTube. And as you can see, we have a beautiful design here from the side. Especially you can see this little arc design. We have also the SGS3, so the Samsung Galaxy S3 here for comparison, and Apple iPhone 5. Of course, you can see the difference in size, speed, and we will show you all kinds of features, like for example how you can write the easiest way your messages by swiping your finger around the screen, and why it's better than a Samsung in that matter. So we have here on the bottom a microphone, a nice little wedge design on the bottom, otherwise here arc design with the micro USB right here on the left, which is also MHL, so you can put out via dock or just via standard MHA cable your HDMI picture to the TV. On the top there's the headphone port, and also there's another microphone, stereo microphone, or maybe just for conference calling microphone. Then we have on this side a little flap. You can open that up to get access to your micro SIM card and your micro SD. So this needs also a micro SIM like the Apple iPhone 4 and 4S, but not a nano SIM. So we have also the on and off switch in the middle of the right side, volume control or rocker, and the dedicated camera button. On the back there is a speaker right here on the bottom, which we'll also test just to let you hear the sound quality, flashlight here, and a 13 megapixel camera which just shoots amazing pictures, which you will see on the front. Actually also 720p camera, so you can use HD video recording also for that. So if you turn on the device, you will right away see the beautiful 4.6-inch screen, which has the Android buttons built into the resolution, so there is no extra space on the bottom, like for example with the Sony Xperia Ion, which is a little bit bigger, where the buttons are actually always visible here on the bottom. So here they are on the screen, which gives you the good thing that when you watch movies or something like that, you have more space on the screen, and otherwise the device is less big. Except for, of course, you have the Xperia logo here, which they could have made home also, and then on the left and right side something else, but that's not what Sony did. And since the display is also a little bit scratched, I know this should be Gorilla Glass, but we don't know how that happened. We are actually not the first people who are testing this from the agency, so let's turn the device on by just pressing the camera button, which I showed you before, because then you will see that when you press the camera button actually, okay, again, the device should turn on and shoot photos. Okay, something's not... Now, there we go. Bam. So it didn't take long. It shot a photo right away, and it should be sharp. Not quite sharp. It could be sharper. As you can see, the make-believe here in the Sony logo is a little bit blurry, but if you hold it steady, it could also look like this. Since that's what we did here in the German video, or we can just do it again. So hold it steady and bam, 13 megapixel camera shot a beautiful picture of the Sony logo, the box here of the Xperia T. So you can also of course record videos full HD. I recorded a video outdoors, which I love to show here because it was while ice skating. So you can see actually that we have here quite a sharp focus in the beginning on the close-up on my watch, and then as we go further forward I drive a little bit around the track, and then I just look around, and you can see that everything is quite sharp, looks beautiful, the colors are real. And yeah, actually the device is also here quite nice, since it has really a slim bezel all around, and the camera is just amazing with 30 megapixels, but we will demonstrate the front camera to you also in just a second. So you can see also there the 720p, and yeah, you can see it's focusing quite quickly from the front to the back. So let's move on, and as you can see on the side there is no menu button. Menu buttons have to hit the screen to get them back. So let's go to front camera. Then you will see me here sitting in my t-shirt. with a lot of light in the background, but you can see this is also quite fast, and you can check out my camera right here. This is the Lumix GH2, and yes, this is quite actually also good for video recording. Sometimes it gets a little bit slow, as you can see here on the side maybe, but it's not bad at all. I'm sorry. So let's go on with browsing. I'm in the Wi-Fi right now, and we should just check out something on the web, like for example, we can visit something like Gizmodo. It tells me gizmos. That's some food. It probably doesn't know the Gizmodo website, so let's just type it like this. What I did before was called swiping, and if you wanted to learn the word you wrote, you just hit on the word, and the next time I will swipe my finger around the device, around the keyboard, it will know the word. So actually let's just do this again. Let me go on here, and then if I do Gizmodo like that again, it will know the word, as you can see here, and what it gave me before, this Gizmos, comes just as second, so this is quite nice. And what I actually wanted to do was going onto the English website of Gizmodo, but let me just go all the way here to the bottom and go from the German Gizmodo side to the English Gizmodo side. But it seems that doesn't work, so let's just go to the NewYorkTimes.com. That always works, so NY Times. Of course it doesn't know that, since that's abbreviated, so here we go. Google is helping us a little bit. You can see that the screen is not too big to do everything with one finger. Okay, I have quite big hands probably, but you can see the display is just beautiful. You can flip the screen, it flips animated with you, and it's really beautiful to read, even when the sun is shining outdoors. We already tested that. So now I can show you off a little bit more this nice swiping features by going into the messages. I can write something like president, I can write something like Broadway, and it will right away know the words, and if it doesn't, you will able to see it learns from you if you teach it. Otherwise, you can actually use it with different languages. You could add Spanish here on the bottom, and you can switch from Spanish to English right away, and it knows all the words in a bunch of languages, and I just really love that. You can of course flip the screen also to have even more space, but I like it actually this way better to really connect the words, since that is the fastest way of writing. And now I can tell you also why it's better than the Samsung Galaxy S3, for example, in this matter, since when you write here words, something like, let's just write Google, and you wanted to write goggle, you can of course just hit the screen and then you're right at that spot that you wanted to write, or you can just delete the whole word after you typed it. Let's just do something like this, and let's say, okay, I didn't want it to write thickens, of course. I just hit delete and bam, it deletes the whole word. You don't have to delete every letter by itself. That's why I love Sony. This is just amazing what they do with the keyboards and with their Android, since this is Android 4.0.4. But if you hit here the button where you can check out what kind of apps I have open right now, quite a bunch, I know, you can actually see on the bottom there's some extras. For example, this little plus button, you can install here small apps for the bottom here, but also you have these nice little windows which you can drag around. It's a little bit easier with two hands, so you can drag it around if you want to record something while you maybe do in the background a little bit of emailing. You can just hit this button, but you can also do a little bit of note taking. So it's not like you can take notes like on the Galaxy Note, but it's quite nice. You can also take a new one, a new one, a new one, and then you can go back and forth from note to note to note. And you can of course delete them also on the top or anywhere you want, and you can go also full size if you want to do more. So this is quite nice and really new here by Sony. You can of course close everything you don't need anymore. You can set the time like that. And the last one is a calculator, of course, quite important piece of thing. If you have this big screen, you would need a calculator to do a lot of math stuff. So this is kind of a little bit of a note killer without a stylus. Here this is Sony Xperia T, and actually you should watch the battery on the top, 94%, since while we are doing this video it goes drastically down. Like every 5 minutes it goes down 1%, and that's just standard with smartphones, I would guess. Other devices are a little bit better on that task, but the Sony has a dual-core 1.5 GHz processor, and if we do Wi-Fi and if we do gaming, videos and all kinds of heavy lifting for the device, as you will see, we will also play full HD movies in a second. Of course the battery goes down a little bit. Now this game is called Jackpack Joyride. The device opened it quite quickly. Usually you should actually play it with your left hand, not your right, but I'm just too lazy right now and I don't want to live anymore and really long anyhow. But yeah, this is really quite a nice game. And whoa, what's with all the okay, let's just die, I don't care. So you can see it looks quite nice, plays quite nicely, and of course it's really fast. And let's just exit, I don't want to play anymore. And now let's go into the video mode. So, oh, actually I still have playing my 1080p video, which from Pirates of the Caribbean 3. You can see it's playing smoothly. This one little hiccup is just because when the menu is going away from the screen the first time, it lags a little while, but otherwise, of course, when 1080p works, then you can also watch 720p, which you can see here is beautiful. And since, as I said, there's MHL, you can output this via HDMI cable easily to your TV. And this was actually the end, and you can also watch standard AVIs quite easily. Looks beautiful on the phone. And yeah, let's do the next thing, which is of course the next logical thing. Compare it with the Samsung Galaxy S3, since they're about the same price range, but the Samsung has a bigger screen. Now what I don't like about the Samsung, as you can see here, the design is really different. It's not as businessy, I would say, and if you put them on each other, you can also see that the blue is so shiny and you can see a lot of fingerprints, but the Sony is always elegant and it really fits quite nicely into your hand. So I really love that about the Sony. It just gives you a little bit more of quality, as I would say. And it's actually not that much well, smaller also, sadly. Could be a little bit more small, but Sony well, has a smaller screen, that's for sure. And now of course the Apple iPhone 5 will be interesting for you to see here that actually the iPhone 5 is almost as big as the Sony, just not as wide. So in terms of height they are about the same, but when you go onto each other you can see that there's here a little bit of a difference. Also not much, not even a centimeter, but in thickness the iPhone maybe even loses, of course in the middle, but otherwise the Sony is really also quite slim compared to an Apple iPhone 5. Compared to the Xperia Ion, which has about the same specs, you can see that the Ion is even bigger. It could be compared to the Samsung Galaxy S3. If you put them onto each other, the Ion is also thicker. But I mean, it's understandable, it's a device from January. So you can see here it's a different shape, but otherwise it's about the same in terms of hardware, except for the display size. So I think this is quite a perfect device here by Sony. This is the Sony Xperia T. You can of course also go to camera from right here, because that's probably one of the main reasons I would buy this device. The camera is just amazingly fast, sharp. It just looks crazy sharp. And there's not much else to say, not much to say against the device, except for the on switch is quite unhandy. It's small and in the middle of the device, except for somewhere up here where there's sadly the SIM card and other things. It should be a little bit more up, not here in the middle, since that's the only way of unlocking the device. That's quite unhandy. And now one last thing, of course, I promised you a little bit of music. I have one song here which is called Too Close, you probably know it. You have mid sound, and you can hear actually when you have it in your hand, and the speaker is of course on the bottom there under the Xperia logo. It sounds okay, but it's a typically smartphone sound, so it doesn't give you too much bass. It's, well, a little bit lifeless, but I mean, you have your headphones for that. For conference calling, this is totally enough. So let's pause it, go back. Thank you much for watching, and Devil TV. Till next time, please tune in again, and also please subscribe to us. We have a lot more tests coming up. For example, of course, the Xperia Ion. We have the Sony Galaxy S, the Samsung Galaxy S3 Mini actually here, and a lot more. We are also on the CES in January. Till next time, please tune in again. My name is Balazs Gal. Thank you much for watching, and as I said, subscribe and hit thumbs up.